This is Belt Drive Betty, and we're at the brand new All About Snow and Powersports show here in Abbotsford. And I'm with two beautiful ladies from a company called West Coast Roar.
My name's Greer Stewart, and I'm one of the owners of West Coast Roar.
Joley Baker, and I am the other owner of West Coast Roar.
And you guys spawned from the company down in the States, correct? Roar, the parent company or mother company?
Yes. So we partnered up with some folks from Daytona, and they were the first ever women's motorcycle shop. In fact, they've developed a bike that's ergonomically correct for women. It's driven by a 1200 Harley motor. It's called the Wildcat. It hasn't gone into full production yet, but there's 3 bikes in line to go into production, and they're specifically designed for women. And when I say that, I'm talking about a smaller woman, a woman that starts from the height size of 4'10". These specific bikes, what we've done is they're lower, so their center of weight is lower, the center of gravity, the ergonomics of a shorter wheelbase, which most bikes are about a 96-inch wheelbase from hub to hub. That's a big, long bike. And for a smaller person, you want to shorten those distances.
You obviously also ride.
We love riding.
Okay.
It's our passion.
Right on. So, Greer, what do you ride right now?
Right now I'm riding a V-Star 1100 that's been modified. I'm 5'4", so I have risers on my handlebars. I've had the spring, the monoshock, shortened by about 1.5 inches. It's a beautiful bike. It's an easy bike for women to handle.
I ride a V-Star 1100 as well. I love the bike.
I also ride a sport bike. It's a 212 Kawasaki 650 Ninja, and I absolutely love that bike. It's nimble, it's responsive. I also think that it's a great bike for a smaller female. These bikes can also be modified to accommodate your flat-footedness, which I firmly believe in. You should always be able to back a bike up, and if you can't do that, you're at risk.
How long have you been riding, Greer?
I started motorcycle riding. By the time I was 7, I was fairly proficient at it. We rode a lot of dirt bike, off-road times. I've actually only been on the street a few years because Joley introduced me to street riding, and it was something that I didn't think I would do. I didn't know if I was comfortable with it. I was hard-pressed to find something. I'm 5'4", I weigh 130 pounds, and I was hard-pressed to find something that I felt safe and comfortable on. And yet I'd been riding dirt bikes and these gases and trials bikes, and I knew how to ride. I know how to handle the clutch and handle the shifting and all the the trouble that comes along with log jumping and hills and all that kind of stuff. But when I got to the street bike and I was handling something that was 750 pounds, I had to reassess my confidence.
So, Joley, what's your background? Tell us a little bit about where you come from.
Similar to Greer's as far as dirt bikes, but I grew up riding dirt bikes from a very young age too, probably 10. I was crazy. I was a tomboy. I had brothers and we had motorcycles, and I absolutely loved it. I rode a lot alone though, and I vividly remember roaring through the streets when I was a young girl and loving that feeling, that freedom, the thrill of it. I absolutely loved it. And I began riding street bikes when I was 26. 1997, I bought my first street bike. It was a Virago 535. I loved it.
West Coast Roar is so much more than just motorcycles, right, ladies?
We certainly are. One of the things that we think is really exciting is the fact that we're a sistership, and we want to provide education, support, safety, where people can ask us questions, and if we don't know the answer, we'll come to a more experienced rider like yourself. And there's so many of us out here now.
Yes.
And we'll say, hey, have you ever come across this? And women being what we are, the nature of us is that we're willing to share, and we're willing to tell our stories, and we're willing to be vulnerable. So for us, it's creating a safe place for women. The motorcycle is personifying something much greater than riding.
Absolutely.
It's connection, unification, sistership, and support.
I agree with you. The motorcycle seems to transcend pretty much everything. It doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter your height, your religious background, it doesn't matter your ethnicity or your work relation. when people start talking motorcycles, when they start sharing the highway together, whether it's verbally over a cup of coffee or it's side by side going down the highway, that motorcycle kind of erases lines, doesn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely. I purchase for the store, so I'm not an
You're the
expert
one
in that,
that's
but
responsible for all the bling and the goodies.
I would not consider
Okay.
myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination.
You mentioned empowerment, and you mentioned the fact that women are very comfortable telling their stories. So tell me, what is your scariest moment ever on a motorcycle?
My personal scariest moment is being a passenger on almost everybody's motorcycle. I'm knocking them on the helmet saying, how fast are we going? Why are you doing that?
Mine's easy. It was a windstorm in Seattle, Washington, and it was the inaugural day windstorm, and I'm going to forget the year, but I was riding across the 520 bridge on my 535 Virago, and I honestly thought I was going to die, and it was the scariest time of my life. Just the windstorm was so bad, and that bike, it wasn't that big, so it was very scary. I was actually praying, thinking I'm going to die riding a bike, but I love it. It was just the weirdest thing, you know.
It's something I think most riders can relate to. When I first started, I was very self-conscious. I mean, every guy in the country was going to laugh at me if I dropped my bike, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And I was scared of that. And how do you, as a rider, overcome some of those fears that we put there? We put them there. Nobody else does.
Well, for me, overcoming those fears comes back to education. And I will take rider course after advanced rider course. I want to know everything that there is to know out there so that I have those skills that I can fall back on. When I ride with other riders, in order to keep my own confidence, I tell myself, Greer, this is your ride. You don't have to keep up, put up, show off. You don't have to do anything, and I encourage all women to believe truth is it's always your ride.
And how do you feel?
Well, I think as long as I keep putting myself in those situations that scare me, and I need to ride with groups. I haven't done a lot of group riding in my riding career, and so I do have some of those fears as well. But the more I do it and open myself up to the people and the community, and it gets a lot easier.
This has been Belt Drive Betty with the ladies from West Coast Roar, and learning all about ladies and motorcycles. With me is Joan Krenning, and Joan is the owner and the brainchild behind a company called
Design Reps Brands.
The reason I let her say that is because I always think of Joan as rider's reps. The headband that you see on my head right now is the one I've been wearing all riding season. I've been torture testing Joan's product, and I'm happy to tell you that I love this product. And so when I look at Joan, I don't think of her full-blown company. I think of her as the lady who makes me look pretty when I'm on my bike and off my bike without me having to be girly.
I love that. I totally love that. It's been 23 years since I started making headwear and 10 years since I started putting jewels on them. And I can honestly tell you that putting rhinestones on to make women pretty on functional headgear just totally makes my day. And to have you wearing that, she has not lost a jewel. Not one jewel.
And I've not been kind to it. I've washed it in the washing machine, which you're really not supposed to, but it's not an absolute no-no. But I've also put it in the dryer, which is a no-no.
That's the big no-no. Washing is okay, delicate cycle, but no dryer.
Yeah, and of course when you're on the road, you've been in a rainstorm, you've been whatever, you just throw all your gear, you're tired, you're beat up. And so all I did with your product is wear it the way any other rider would, and then to the extreme. Making sure that I torture tested it, and because before I'm going to endorse a product and say, I love this, I want people to know I'm serious, that I really do use it. Hence why mine is nice and faded, and Joan's is absolutely gorgeous because she just pulled it off the rack.
I did.
So tell us a little bit about Design Wraps and what you do and where you come from, and then we're going to talk about a big secret you've got.
I do have a big secret.
Yeah.
It's been 23 years since I started manufacturing head wraps, 1989. I bought my first bike in 1986, and I saw a need for not just headwear, but ladies' apparel and just something that was of quality. I've always been a very passionate, made in the USA manufacturer. And then in 2006, I moved to Canada, married a Canadian, and became a permanent resident of Canada. So now I go back and forth, and I do feel like it's a true North American success story now. I love Canada, I love the United States, and I promote both countries buying products that are made in their country.
Wherever possible, I like to work with, and promote the products that are made here in Canada, because if we're willing to spend a little bit more to keep our own jobs, our own economy going, it just benefits everybody.
And it's not just keeping a job here, but it's keeping a well-paying job here. I don't know of anybody out there that wants to work for minimum wage, and my employees don't either. So it's about creating well-paying jobs, not just creating jobs.
And you do that by creating a top-notch product that people don't mind paying that little extra for.
Exactly.
And then following it up with excellent customer service, a great returns policy, and an ability and willingness as a small business person to work with the other little guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've heard about some of the merchandising that you've done to get your product into stores in an affordable and effective way that really helps the store.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We have a new system called the Smart Ordering System, and the whole system is designed around making it simple for the retailer to place an order with us, where we pick the order for you, we do the merchandising for you, the rack comes out, it's all ready to go, and if something doesn't sell for you, every 90 days you do returns to us. We call it no worry ordering.
You're getting ready to go on an adventure.
Oh yes.
Tell us a little bit about the bike you're going to be riding on that adventure, and what the adventure means to you as a female rider and then as a business person.
Okay, the bike that I'm going to be riding on is a 2013 Street Glide. I'm going with the denim black, and there's going to be graphics of the ride. The name of the ride is the Glorious of Freedom Ride, and there's basically three purposes for it. The first purpose is to promote American-made products, because I will be going across the United States. The second purpose is to start bringing Americans together and not be so divisive. Then I also will be stopping at all the licensed Harley dealers in the United States. This is a 2-year run. There's 660 dealers, so I will walk in the door of every one. As a female rider, there is nothing that I've ever enjoyed more than getting out on the open road by myself a lot of the times and just going across the country. I've been doing that since 1986, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. But this time, we're inviting anyone that wants to join me to ride.
So it's a conga very much like what I do here.
Exactly, and you and I are going to ride together.
I'm hoping so. The way my conga is shaping up for 2013, we'll see me going up to the Yukon, BC, then down to Dallas through Oklahoma City for the second annual Never Again Pledge, which is all about supporting the Jewish community, standing shoulder to shoulder, Christian and Jew, and being able to bring our communities together again under that non-political, we're just human being, all living, looking for our loves, our passions, and our dreams to come true.
I love that. I do love that.
Yeah.
So the tail of the dragon.
That sounds like where we'll probably end up meeting up.
I do think so.
I'm hoping so. We're being visited right now by Corrinne from the Sicamous Chamber of Commerce.
Hello.
And Corrinne, tell us a little bit about your fair town of Sicamous, because I know you guys are awful rider friendly.
Well, we try. We try to be everybody friendly. Well, with our location at the junction at Highway 97 and the Trans-Canada, along the mountain and along the lakes, I mean, it's a beautiful ride. We've got a lot of riders in our community. Some of our councilmen are riders. We've started hosting the Sicamous Burnout with the CMDRA. And to have everybody come into town, have fun, be safe, have a good time, that's what it's all about.
It is.
We want to host our people.
Sicamous has a very welcoming attitude compared to an awful lot of communities out there. I attribute a lot of that to the fact that you are 100% a hospitality industry community. Everything you do is based around the houseboats, the beautiful riding, the fishing, the mountain climbing, and for winter people, the snowmobiling and all of those types of activities.
Sicamous is a struggling community. We just seem to keep getting hit over and over, but we're pretty resilient and we will survive.
Well, the weather has definitely taken its toll on the Okanagan period, and specifically in the North Okanagan Shuswap region. And it's got to be tough because your community's true income time is about a 6 to 8 week window.
It is a 6 to 8 week window. Our businesses need to capitalize on that window in order to stay open during the winter, let alone employ staff. So we had an event June 23rd where we had a flash flood come down, and we had a lot of people evacuated. We had a couple of businesses devastated with an extra 18 feet of gravel, shall we say, encompassing their business. The media came into town, and the scenario that if it bleeds, it leads. So we got a lot of bad press as to Sicamous is underwater, Sicamous is dangerous, the water's not clean, and it was basically a please stay away from Sicamous scenario. It was not the case. I mean, we were not kayaking to the post office. We were lucky enough that no one was injured or died in the flash flood, and for that, we're always grateful. What we do need is we need to keep our visitors coming because of that 6 to 8 week window.
Let's talk a little bit about the tourism aspect of Sicamous. We've talked about the negative stuff that's happened with the crap weather and some of those challenges, but let's talk about what makes Sicamous.
We've got our hiking trails, our biking trails, we've got nature trails, we've got all our water sports, we've got our houseboats, houseboat capital of Canada for a reason. We've got our sea-doos, our pontoons. We've, enjoy the water. We're getting more and more wineries through the area. When you turn around then and you look at quadding, ATVing, snowmobiling, our 4 mountains are award-winning mountains.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. And they're at all different levels too. So you don't have to be the extreme rider.
Yeah.
We've got it all. And it's fantastic.
The Sicamous bike drags both years that it's been held, and to the burnouts, I should say, with the CMDRA, and you guys are really stepping up your game. Last year, you brought out a raised burnout pit, you implemented some stuff for the kids, you brought out some wonderful quadders with, doing the extreme quads and jumping, and you had the FMX guys out there, and you did a skills competition, beer gardens, music, all of that work for a 4-hour event. So what are you going to do for next year? Are you going to give us a little teaser?
We're hoping to do our event that we normally do, and then extend the beer gardens into a street dance and a cabaret type thing on the street.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Maybe a little bit of a pig roast. And then what we're looking at for the next, and then camping all through Sicamous or residents, our hotels. We're then looking at doing a large poker run from Sicamous to the Ashcroft races the next day.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? So really supporting the CMDRA and really networking and helping people to see what Sicamous is all about and what it has to offer. Are you going to be doing anything with the houseboats, maybe?
We are hoping to have some houseboats on the water to be able to do some tours.
Oh, that would
maybe a dinner tour or a booze cruise or sunset cruise. We really would like to see all the riders that come in. You know, they have such a good time. They have such good things to say about Sicamous, and we enjoy them. So we want them to see what it is so that, you know, maybe the next time they'll stay for a couple of days.
Sitting with Nanette, Jacques. She is the coordinator and brainchild behind Powersports adventure show here in Abbotsford. And Nanette, tell me a little bit about how this show came to be.
Well, basically, I started out myself as a dirt rider, and then I got into snowmobiling and also ATVing. And it's always the same crowd, so I thought there was a place in the market for, it's the same people. The people that snowmobile or the people that ATV, they dirt ride. So I thought there's got to be a show for them to come and see all of the power sports. And then we also included boats, small marine.
For a first-time show, how are you feeling about how everything came together? It's always a challenge in Abbotsford with the weather.
Yes, indeed.
So how are you feeling in spite of Mother Nature dumping copious amounts of rain?
Yes. I think it was good. I've talked to a lot of the vendors and the people that were coming that were serious. And they were buying a lot of units, and I think that's what's important. We had a lot of seminars here, and we had a lot of education for people, and I think they really enjoyed that and gave them the tools to go out in the backcountry.
Combining the snow, the water, and the pavement and the dirt, all four ways there are to enjoy yourself on a power sports machine, offered you some interesting opportunities to showcase the actual equipment through some of the quadding demonstrations, the Yamaha Riding Academy, that kind of stuff.
Well, for me, I think you want to see the motors running. And if you watch Billy on the quad, he's absolutely fabulous. I mean, he's a stunt rider, and he also teaches the Vancouver City Police how to do their ATV. And in the front, we actually had Kawasaki demoing their 2013s in a track that we built at the front of the building.
Right.
So people got an opportunity to look at what they might want to buy, but they also got an opportunity to drive it. So Kawasaki was saying that on Saturday alone, he put twice as many people out on the quads as he expected to for the whole show. So he was really pleased with that.
That's awesome. And your team hasn't changed a whole lot. You're not running the January Vancouver motorcycle show now with the changes that have taken place there, but your team has stuck with you. That's pretty amazing, girl. You've managed,
especially with the weather I put them through every year. The people that come out every year are the people that they live and love riding. And they love to be a part of this. They love to get people out on motorcycles or ATVs, and I think that's what's important. They really, really enjoy it.
Yeah,
the AIM is one of my favorite charities. The Association of Injured Motorcyclists down here in the Lower Mainland does a really good job, and they don't have a lot of ways to earn money. So if someone does get injured, they're at the hospital helping them out, or they're renting them a TV, or they're paying for their bike to get taken to a shop to get fixed or something like that. So I think it's a great cause, and I love to help AIM whenever I can, and we do it through the auction that we did. The AIM ticket takers are at the door, and what I really like about that is that they're really knowledgeable motorcyclists. They know where everything is on the floor, so if anybody has any questions, they can just ask the people at the door, and they really know.
The auction was kind of a new twist to things.
Yeah, we tried it. It's the first time. We can think of a bunch of things we'll do to improve it for next year, but we did make some good money for AIM and also the Snowmobile Federation's charity, which is Easter Seals.
The show's just closing. It's the first show, and I know you. You've already got your gears going and are planning the next one.
Definitely have quite a few people saying today that they were coming back, and a few people talking about which spaces they wanted or different spaces. So yeah, it's going to start tomorrow for next year.
Well, I want to thank you very much for having us out here and for putting on such great shows and being such a valued part of this community. I don't think enough people really understand how much Nanette Jacques does for the motorcycle community in particular. And if you have any doubt, come see me. I'll tell you all about what this woman does for this community, because she is a very vital part of the motorcycle community. And thank you for everything you do, Nanette.
Thank you.